Good morning. How are you? Hello.
Right. What's up? We're back, Pastor Nick, Bishop Evans.
Buenos dias.
How you doing? Of course, we're coming to you guys with a whole lot of content. We're
Yeah.
taping a bunch of stuff today. Tomorrow, you guys get ready as we talk about some topics, some quick videos to kind of share some information
Sure.
with you. Please don't forget to follow us on all of our platforms, BBC of NJ, David G. Evans 1. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. David G. Evans 1
Yeah.
at BBC
Got
of
some
NJ.
good stuff for you.
Oh, yeah. Some fun stuff, too.
Yeah.
Trying to keep you entertained and minister to you during this crisis
Yeah.
at the same time. So,
You're not in
yes, sir.
isolation. You're in consecration.
Yes, sir. That is facts.
It's not solitary confinement. Spending some time with the Lord.
Yeah,
Okay. It's all how you look at it.
that's true.
Is this an obligation? No, it's an opportunity.
Right.
Get closer to God. Catch up on some stuff.
Yeah,
Start praying regularly again. Reading your word again.
yeah,
It's a good time to get yourself ready for when we come out of this.
right.
Come out a little differently than we went in. A little more equipped. That reminds me of when New Orleans went through Katrina.
Mm.
And, I went down there to preach, and of course the devastation is nothing like what they show you on the news. It was just,
Yeah.
I was amazed that people were still living there.
Mm.
So anyway, I'm riding along, and I'm trying to, I'm talking to the pastor about, Pastor Brister, I'm talking to him about how, what they're going to do after the building comes. So, and that's when he told me that every time a hurricane comes through, they have to rewrite the building code.
Okay.
So the building code is rewritten now. So if another storm the size of Katrina comes through, or a little stronger, the buildings will not fall.
Right.
And I think that's what God is doing during this crisis. We can either decide to come out of the crisis with the same life principles in place, or we can build some more strength during this time where we're spending, adjusting to what we have no control over, and come out stronger than when we went in. And I think we need to come out stronger.
Absolutely.
It's a message for the church too,
Yeah.
because I believe a lot of us just were not ready to do whatever we could do, in this crisis. We just weren't ready for it.
Yeah. As you always say, you make plans and life happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's big facts.
Yep.
Because we have all these plans and all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden something comes.
Change at all.
And the good thing, like you're saying, it shows you where you're ill prepared,
Mm-hmm.
what you should have been doing the whole entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned over the years, whenever times like this come personally
Mm-hmm.
or nationally,
Mm-hmm.
what is God trying to teach us, me, during this moment?
Absolutely.
And I don't think we usually think in that place of
No, we think outwardly.
outwardly, yes.
I think whenever something happens, the church universal tends to look at the world.
Right.
When the Bible's clear, and maybe it's the way we're looking at it, but if we looked at every incident like what we're going through now with this virus thing as a question, instead of a chance to make pronouncements,
Right.
we would understand the Bible says judgment begins at the house of God. So the question is being asked to us. Who are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Now, why do I need the question? If I need the question because my position is not obvious.
Right.
So God is asking the church as well as the world,
Mhm.
who are you going to choose?
Right.
Why is he asking the church? Perhaps we've gotten a little aberrated and a little, maybe we're more seeker friendly than soul winning.
Wow.
I know that's going to get me in some trouble.
Yeah.
But I never saw Jesus as, we distorted what his seeker-friendly model looked like.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I just think you either look at this and woe is me, or you look at it and start answering the question, what do I need to do better?
Right.
Who am I? How am I handling the situation? Am I ready for this kind of thing? And it's not to send us into some radical, go hide underground type of thing.
Right.
But it is a question, especially people of faith.
Yeah.
Where are you with God? How much do you trust him? Where is your wisdom?
Yeah.
In this situation? And faith does not void wisdom.
Mhm.
Faith and wisdom actually dwell comfortably in the same cup.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a good time. Not, don't like people being sick, people losing their lives, but, we've got to answer the questions.
Right. Right.
Are we choosing him?
Absolutely.
Or are we changing him?
Right. Yes. Which, as you're talking about, is jogging something in my memory. So in Mark 4, Jesus is talking about the parable of the sower.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, the wayside, stony ground, thorny ground, good ground.
Mm-hmm.
He explains to the disciples, these mysteries were given to you.
That's right.
And immediately after he got done teaching about the kingdom, the word being seed, he automatically says, let's go to the other side.
Yep.
He doesn't tell them about the storm in the middle. The sower sows the word and says, let's go through a process to see what ground this word hit on.
Who are you?
Who are you? And Jesus falls asleep on the boat. They wake him up. Jesus rebukes the wind and he says, where is your faith?
Absolutely.
If you really believed me, you'd be chilling just like me. But you're trying to change me.
He forced them into identification. So turn it around. Where's your faith?
Yes.
What kind of ground are you?
Right.
That was a field test that none of us want to take.
Who you telling? For him to just say, let's go.
Oh.
And I think, it's funny, you hear people sarcastically saying, where are the prophets now? Where are the pastors that talked about vision, so and so. But the reality is they missed the fact of God's principle. He sows the promise and then tests you on that promise.
He always gives him field tests.
It doesn't eliminate the word. It just is a part of the process.
And I think people sometimes are very quick to judge others because a storm that would shake their faith has not come along.
Yes.
You find the disciples revealing to Jesus on the boat that they had faith to get in the boat, but not trust for the voyage.
Right.
And when that happens, they reveal themselves to Jesus as having him on board, but I think believing that his power is limited by the fact that he was asleep.
Right.
His presence wasn't enough for them. Don't get me started.
Oh, that was good.
How do you have him right there?
Yeah.
And start worrying about drowning?
Yes, sir.
And show that you doubt his presence, the power of his presence, his love. Does he have to be awake, if you will, to be with you and be active in your life? It's just so many questions come up in that historic text. But the reality is, God is asking all of us, what kind of ground are you?
Yeah.
And we're finding out right now. It's really not a revelation of him. It's a revelation of him in us.
Yeah.
How much of him on board do I trust?
Yes, sir.
So.
And it's funny because at the end of the storm, they asked the question, what manner of man is this?
There you go.
They're wondering, I ain't never seen it like before. Who is this man? Which means that they didn't get the full revelation of who he was after the storm was over. And Jesus had to test them again.
Yep. Your statement is so profound. What manner of man is this? How is this guy trusting God to this extent?
Yeah.
And we basically almost bailed out of the ship. This is too much for us, Jesus. You need you to wake up.
Right.
Now, mind you, he just come off a hot miracle. I mean, he feeding a couple thousand folk.
Doing work, man.
They witnessed it all. And they still lost it.
Yeah.
But it's not an indictment that they lost it. It's just the Bible shows us our realities.
Absolutely.
And Christians right now, when I'm talking to them, a lot of them are in a place of fear. They've stepped out of faith and stepped into fear.
Absolutely.
But claim all before this, Jesus was on board firmly.
Yeah.
Just,
I believe my
become a soccer. Eat a McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me.
And that's true. He continues to show our realities, our battles, and our unbelief. Because none of us are 100% faith. None of us are.
And those that say that they are lying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't believe God all the time.
Come on now.
Not at all. But what was interesting, what got me about Jesus and his relationship with the disciples, the thing that got him the maddest was their inability to grow with him.
Absolutely.
And he kept sending them through lessons, and he kept saying, "I'm doing this because you missed the first lesson.
Let me tell you
The
something.
hardness of their hearts got on his nerves, because it's like, I've been with you all this time and you're still not getting it.
You're actually describing our lives.
Yes, absolutely.
I know you've counseled a lot of people. I've counseled a lot of folks. And I just don't get it. If I'm drowning, why won't you let me lift you out of the water?
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is, being a father to preachers, it's frustrating that if you've got 25 or 30 or 50 or 100 sons and daughters, and you're steadily sowing into them, but you're only watching 5 or 6 grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's frustrating, and it's disheartening.
It is. Yeah.
Because, you can't stop growing, so they won't feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You have to keep serving. Watch this. You have to keep serving dinners that they don't have taste for. Not that it's not good, because a couple of kids are eating and they're growing. Right. And the others are saying, well, I don't like that. It's almost, you ever been to a restaurant with someone who does not have no experience with what's on the menu and say, I don't like that?
Yeah, automatically.
How do you know you don't like it and you haven't tasted it?
Right.
Don't guard your ignorance. Try it.
Yeah.
See if it works.
Absolutely.
I know when we met, man, he ain't like nothing.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I remember Anthony didn't like nothing, man. Had to start exposing you to stuff, man. But that's how my mom did us. She had the catering business, so she would cook for us what she was cooking for the people, and we started eating lobster Newburg and all this kind of stuff. So we going to people's houses. Y'all ain't having lobster Newburg.
Y'all just having chicken.
I'm not used to just plain chicken. We Florentine or something,
man.
But no, we have to expose ourselves to things. But I think Jesus had a legitimate frustration because you need people that are following you to grow with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, from a pastoral standpoint, when you look at Jesus, his biggest issue, one of his biggest issues with disciples were the people that were following him were getting it.
Absolutely.
And his leaders that were with him weren't getting it. And he would literally publicly, but if they didn't have a certain level of faith, he would say publicly, "Where's your faith at?" When the woman, the daughter of the demon, the man that said, "Just send the word," he said, "How come y'all follow me every day? How come you can't have the same faith as these people?"
That centurion had the revelation on faith, though.
Yeah.
I tell people what to do, they do it. I tell them to come, they come. I tell them to go, they go. I tell them to sit down, they sit down. Just like you do.
Yep.
And he said, I haven't found this kind of faith, not even in Israel.
Yeah. The members of the congregation got it, but the leaders did.
They didn't get it. So, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
We know Jesus didn't make a mistake.
Right.
But did Jesus put workers in place rather than leaders?
Could be.
Because their job was to spread the gospel.
Yeah.
Were they ever leaders, or were they simply workers?
Could it be they started off as workers and over time evolved?
And became leaders?
Leaders, yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. Based on what some of them did in Acts.
And we know Paul was never a disciple.
Yeah.
So which one of the guys in your remembrance became a leader?
So like Peter.
Did Peter become one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of the chief bishops.
He had a rough road, though.
He had a real rough road.
Now, that's not to say that every title is attached to a leader. Some workers have leadership titles.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you had your ones that, like Thomas, went along and most of Israel got, not Israel. He went to what's known as modern day India now.
Yeah.
And evangelized that.
He was good.
James and John were beheaded. The most notable ones are Peter, that's talked about in Acts, shadow healing people, doing all that stuff.
Was James and John beheaded because they were workers in leadership positions?
I don't know why. I just know they were committed.
I'm just talking theoretically.
I don't know.
Because most workers are committed. And we need workers.
Oh, you need workers, yeah.
The worst thing you could do is put a leader in a worker's position and a worker in a leader's position.
Yeah.
Because their focus is going to be different.
Absolutely.
So, the beheading. So Jesus, God was so committed to new leadership that he had John beheaded.
Yeah.
So that dimension of leadership could pass and Jesus could step in.
Right.
Do you think there's a dynamic in the beheading of James and John? Was there an era that they needed to that needed to be transitioned from. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's just thrown out for us to think. Perhaps they were workers who did not develop into leaders.
I mean, could be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We just know John Ala Patmos.
Yeah.
Did his thing on wrote Revelations.
Yeah.
Each one had a different purpose. I'll say that, and different outcome.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So Jesus might have mixed his crew.
He could have mixed his crew, and just said, "Here, you're good for this. You're good for this. You're good for this. All right, y'all work together and go do your thing."
Yeah. So titles don't necessarily make you a leader.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
All we know is that they were apostles. Like I have to study Matthew, what he did, but the only ones you hear about after Acts is usually John, Peter.
Yep.
A little bit about James.
Yeah. I'm just trying to start a little controversy.
I know you are. I know. I know you are. I'm just thinking through. You use my mind to think through.
Yeah.
But it does show that the diversity of if a church is going to succeed, it needs diversity of leaders, workers, this gift,
Absolutely.
this purpose.
Absolutely.
And all 12 of them working together, well, minus Judas until the other one came in, all working together would make this thing work.
Absolutely.
If all the leaders, all the workers, all these people, the nuts and bolts people, the visionaries work together to get this thing rolling.
So the gifting gives you an assignment and a purpose, but your designation can dictate whether you're a leader or because both of us can have the same spiritual gift.
Right.
But then God has to add either a leadership gift or a help gift, whatever that is to it, to give us specific designation, I think sometimes. I'm always concerned about people who are spinning their wheels because they really don't know the core or the sweet spot of the anointing on their life.
Sure.
And there are not a lot of people helping them find it. I know that for years they had those surveys, those gifting surveys.
Yeah.
I never took one of those because I really didn't believe in them.
It's too much.
It was nuanced. It was
nuanced.
You could almost, if you knew how to take a test, you kind of could map out your own gifting. If you just had good memory, remember they asked me this question this way the last time. 15 questions later, they asked me again, but they put a little spin on it,
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I think we need to teach on those things.
Absolutely. Yeah. But this is actually cool. Y'all, the principles are in the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Because it's crazy how we're transitioning. So we had our view of God, trusting God, faith during a crisis. And now you're bringing up something interesting. Discovering your gifting and your ability.
Wasn't interesting?
No.
So what you're saying?
It's furthering the conversation of interest.
Okay.
So, because it's like this. We talk about it. During hard times like this, rich folks see opportunity.
Absolutely.
And if we're asking ourselves questions, what gifts, what abilities, what talents, what opportunities does God open during crises?
But a lot of us see this looking for opportunities as a heartlessness during a crisis.
Yeah.
So we back off of that. When some of us have been born, created, gifted, given talents to see opportunity in adversity. And not opportunity that takes advantage of the adversity in a way that puts people in a bad position, but it's the help.
Yes, sir. Yep.
How do I help during this situation? How do I strengthen during this situation? Like your brain's working marvelously during this thing.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's I'm sitting back and just amazed. I'm like, tell me what else to do.
Yeah. And it's funny. She's behind the camera. It's her first time really doing all these tapings too.
Really?
So she's learning how to do all these taping, the editing, the video stuff on the fly.
Okay.
And this whole creative side that's coming out, I don't know. I'm not glad the crisis came.
No, of course not.
But it coming produced
a
whole different arena for us to operate in now.
Out of every storm God sends comes growth.
Yes.
Rainstorm, snowstorm. One thing's being accomplished despite the differences in the way it's presented. Yeah. And that is, it's going to make the earth do some stuff.
Yes, sir.
So.
Yes, sir. And even you, like I know we're pulling Bishop, the podcast coming up, master class, all this online content.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I do appreciate about you. You're willing to evolve and learn
Absolutely.
and grow all these
Absolutely.
different areas.
Absolutely.
Even at your age where most people are like, I'm good.
I'm not guarding my ignorance.
Yeah, I'll stick to whatever. And
ignorance is not a strategy for me.
right.
I'm not going to do it. So,
Yeah.
it's I think we're respond. I think there's the thing that I'm getting are those people that are rising to the top because they feel inspired to rise, are going to be different than those people who are trying to fill a slot because they think they're losing something. So are you going to be inspired by, the environment that we're in, or do you become threatened by the environment that we're in?
Absolutely.
I wrote this. This may not have anything to do with it. One of the things that aggravates me the most is purpose.
Okay.
Purpose sometimes feels like an attack on my destiny,
right?
Because purpose at times feels unachievable to me. So I'm quietly annoyed with my own purpose.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My created self gets on my nerves because of the constant demand for maturity, achievable perfection, and growth.
Yes.
There's this constant demand. So I'm quietly annoyed that this thing will not leave you alone if you decide to do it sincerely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. We got to close. We're running out of time on this part.
Okay.
Well, at least this video. We're going to do some more.
Okay.
Is there any closing words? So we've been talking a lot about how to manage a crisis. Any closing words?
I really, really want to encourage you to have faith and common sense, to practice wisdom during this time. But also, God is not giving you all this time for you not to build relationships. Get the kids off their devices and have some conversation. Get people in the same room, gather around snacks. If you're working, it's time for ideas to be shared and outlooks to be revealed. And what about this session? It's just it doesn't mean a whole lot of people have to be around. But if you got that 2 or 3 gathered together, you can take a good advantage of the time that you're now having to spend. Some people are, cleaning out their closets. Some people are not just cleaning out their physical closets, but some people are cleaning out their spiritual closets. Some people are catching up on things that they, that they've been neglecting, mail and filing. And so there's plenty to do during this time. And trust me when I tell you this, if you don't feel like doing it, it's probably important.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear what I said? Now, if you don't feel like doing it, it's probably important. So if you don't feel like doing it, that's your inspiration that this must need be done.
Cool. God bless y'all.
See you now.
Got some more videos coming soon.